Welcome back, friends. Oh, yay, we get the black pieces. Shall I try it again? Yes, we shall try it again. We're gonna go for an Englund Gambit, see how our opponent. He does take. Where's the opponent from? Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan. So this England Gambit, I'm gonna pile up pressure on this pawn. Normally he's gonna defend with the bishop. In a lot of blitz games, I do see him just giving the pawn back, something like e4. But this is also something I see regularly, the queen coming in to defend. And I think here I can just come up, but then the knight blocks and nothing any further there. I could come up with the knight, attack the queen, put the question to the queen. Then the queen comes back and I'm kind of stalled. So um I can check. And then what? Don't have a lot of options there. So I think I'm going to gambit this pawn. Yeah, I'm going to gambit this pawn for development and attack the queen. Probably get pinned in the process, but then I do have the check up here to unpin. And then that pawn is hanging. So, I need to continue development. And I'm tempted to go queenside. Or maybe G6 to fianchetto the dark square bishop. Since the queen's here, the queen's, I think, okay there. Mm, my other option might be to push B6 and fianchetto the light square bishop. Pushing G6 it ties down my queen to the defense of the knight. I am, of course, going to immediately defend with the bishop. So moves like bishop to G5 are going to be met with bishop G7. And then the queen is freed up. So yeah, well, we're going to do that. We're going to go that route. So I've gambited a pawn. We both have a central pawn. Okay, he wants to come here. That fails immediately to a check. So I'm just going to continue my plan. Okay, he doesn't want to check. He wants to get castled. So I will get castled as well. And I'm working with a half open F file as compensation for my pawn. Let's look at getting our light square bishop out. And then bringing our rook over. Question is, where do I want the light square bishop? Probably on this diagonal, because this diagonal is going to be weak. I would like the bishop right here on E6. My apologies if you can hear my bird squawking in the background. He's being quite loud and it's distracting. It's very distracting. Let's get, well, the bishop planted here is just going to invite the knight jumping in to g5. And then I don't have a good square for the bishop. I'm going to end up trading off knight for bishop. So what if I first develop the knight with the intention of coming back? My intention to come back to e5 so that the queen protects the square, and then my bishop development is not under threat. And from e5, I'm also eyeing c4. So I like that plan. So I'm going to do that. There is a discovered attack on it. He could come here. Um, then I just carry on with my plan. Uh, there we go. So now I get the bishop where I wanted it. And I think I tuck the king in the corner and have this cubby for the bishop just in case in the future, not immediately. Like immediately, I want to continue development. I think get the rook over here to the half open file, but I also want to keep my bishop. Do I trade? Do I trade and allow him symmetry? Not quite symmetry because he has an extra pawn. Um, mm, he's gonna come right back here and reinforce his knight. I'm not worried about him taking the knight. I think, am I worried about him taking? Kind of am worried about him taking the bishop because then queen takes and f4 drives away the knight, and then this square would skewer the queen and king. So that doesn't look great. I don't want him to take the bishop. I want to just drop the bishop back to keep it safe. Rather than taking. So now the question, do I take with the knight or do I take with the pawn? I take with the knight. I think I'm running into bishop f3 with a threat on the knight and like doubling up the pawns anyway, because moving the knight loses a pawn. So I think I just go ahead and the I take with the pawn now. Do I? If he pushes something like f4 to drive my knight away, I have a retreat. It's not a great placement, but he's making committed pawn moves, and I'm going to have a weakness on e3 to target. So I'm kind of okay with that. Um, Alternatively, I take with the knight and I Suppose I could protect the knight. I don't have to just take back with the pawn. So let's keep our pawn structure intact, and um, opponent is really not using a whole lot of time. Maybe my opponent is hoping on just trading pieces and going into a pawn up endgame, but his dark square bishop right now is horrible. I don't know why he would give up his light square bishop for my knight. Um, he should continue development. Wants to come in here with the knight. That's a great outpost for the knight. So I'm going to. Uh, do I guard the pawn and prepare to move the knight back? I think I do. I'm going to guard the pawn, prepare to move the knight back. I can't be giving away too many pawns. Ah, bird is annoying. I don't know if you can hear it over the recording, but uh, I do not recommend getting a parrot. It's my wife's bird. So he's attached to my wife and likes my wife. He does not like me very much and kind of likes to charge and attack. And we don't have a very good relationship right now, which I could maybe work on, but I'm not feeling enough time to train a bird. He is being quite distracting for my chess game at the moment. Hard to think. What's the play here? What do I want to do? I want to push a pawn to play against this bishop and then move the rook. It's awful slow play. I suppose pushing c5 achieves the same thing because the queen guards and c5 attacks the knight. So where does the knight go? I like that better. The knight's going to end up back here, and then I get to destroy the pawn structure. So talking things out helps. Block out the bird and just be zen. So now I get my pawn back and another pawn potentially. And he may be in some trouble. If he tries to save this, I've got this, but then this. So no, I don't. Um, a wide open king. How do I best attack the wide open king? Ideally, um, hmm, I mean, the bishop here would be wonderful. It's going to run into this. I'm suspecting he's going to play f4 first because he needs to do something about this pawn. and there's no defense. Okay, so then if I go bishop here, he's got e4 attacking my bishop. Can I afford to sack the bishop for something else? I don't think so. So maybe I just prep it with rook e8. Rook e8. Yeah. Yeah, just rook e8. Now I have bishop d5 coming, and this is not an adequate defense because bishop takes, and the queen is threatened, and checkmate is threatened. So, okay, now it is again an adequate threat because the knight backs it up. Um, the bishop is terrible. Um, my bishops are not great. Do I just tease him forward and invite him to push e4? If he pushes e4, I drop back and maintain pressure. I think, and now I do want my bishop on this diagonal. I think that's the play. And bishop back. He's got to respond to mate. And he can do that here or here. No, that hangs the knight. So this looks like the only move. Yeah. And now I just drop back and I'm gonna push the pawn. He's got play for his bishop now. So it's not a done deal. Perhaps I can bring my bishop. Yeah, maybe I can bring my bishop to the party over here at h6, and I'm threatening here. I don't see him getting any more defenders to that, so he can push. And I'm not going to take. I'm going to maybe take his bishop, because if takes, the knight would be hanging. I don't know. He's in some serious trouble here because these pieces are just not working hard enough. Um, uh, that is what I was anticipating, but then what here? Because he's got rook here and he's threatening an undefended pawn, but then I take and defend it. He takes back. I take with the rook, and then he takes, and maybe I stack rooks. Yeah. Does that work out for me? What does that position look like? Bishop takes, rook takes, and stack rooks. Hmm. Oh, what am I thinking? Bishop takes, rook takes. If rook takes here, I've got rook h4 threatening mate here. So yeah, I'm gonna take. Yeah, I'm gonna take. And he can't allow me to take because then his knight's hanging. So um, bishop takes, rook takes, and the threat is rook h4. So he's got to create something there. He can't push the pawn because checkmate's a real threat. He needs to create some running room for the king because he doesn't have that at the moment. And if he tries to move the knight, that spells disaster as well. So I mean, the knight can come back and block. Oh, well, rook takes. So what does he do here? And he stacks rooks, maybe, and queen check and king runs. Hmm. Maybe this was a hasty move, and maybe I should have pinned the knight. Pinning the knight might have been a good idea because suddenly I want my rook here. Ooh, what about bishop takes? Threaten the queen and mate. And if knight takes, queen back rank mate. That looks nice. That looks very nice. And if queen takes, then I win the queen. So and then run my king to safety. Yeah, there's that. There is that. The check. I do still get to run my king to safety. The knight still can't take the bishop. And there's no more checks here. So what does he do? His mate is threatened right here. And if he takes the bishop, mate is threatened on the back rank. He blocks the bishop, take the knight with check, and we start gobbling up things, and checkmate seems inevitable there. So this appears to be crushing for black. I do not see white escaping. And it's okay that I'm way down on time because my pieces are far more active and I'm crushing them. With the England Gambit, folks. The England Gambit working at 1910, working against a 1910. I shouldn't count my chickens before they hatch, but this looks to be pretty crushing. It's either mate or giving up a lot of pieces and then mate. I do hope he doesn't stall out on time. He was using no time whatsoever, playing very quickly, and now he seems to be using a lot of time after it appears lost. Oh, that's a clever move. That is a clever move. Um, Not bad. I am basically forced to take. I am forced to take because coming up runs into a check and I don't get my mate. Or do I? I take. Or he takes. He can take. No, if he takes the rook first, I checkmate. If he takes the bishop, that's with check. And then I have to take the knight. And my checkmate that threat seems to be resumed. Let's think about this real quick. Um, if I take, he gets check here, and I come back up, and I mean, if he takes the rook, that's mate. So there's no more checkmates, or no more checks with the queen. So takes, check, king back up. Anything else, I take the queen. If the knight takes here, it's still checkmated on the back rank. So it's safe to take. I don't have to um, I don't have to run and give up the piece, the free piece. And he's free to take this because checkmate is coming. So a valiant effort at trying to create some complications, I guess. But so do I take with the bishop or do I take with the queen? I think I take with the bishop. Yeah, I don't want to trade queens. I want the because still, if he takes the rook, it's checkmate on the back rank. If he creates running space for the king, it's check, run, and then mate. And if he takes, it's just checkmate. You can sack the queen, but I mean, you may as well resign. This is resignable. So check here first, then the king runs, and then check with the bishop. The rook owns this file, so he sacks the queen, and then mate. Yeah. Good game, friend. Um, he tried. He tried very hard, but ultimately, I don't think he was thinking hard enough in the middle game. Opponent played it like a 15-50. And no shame in that. I've played many game like that. But my opponent blundered, and I never let up off the gas after that. Um, Had a slight edge until he blundered, and it was Black's game afterwards. So book takes. This is, of course, a dubious opening. Um, Not recommended at the highest level, certainly. but full of traps, full of tricks. So many tricks in this opening that it's fun to play. And I love it because it immediately discourages the London. Um, so if you're looking for a weapon against the London where you don't want to face it, maybe give this one a shot. It's non-standard. Um, it's fun to play. You're gambiting material, so be good with a gambit, but um, it's a messy, complicated game. It did want me to push in the middle, and I considered that. I was thinking about pushing that. I don't think I vocalized that. I was thinking about both of these pawn pushes, and I was also thinking about fianchettoing and castling queenside. But um, for some reason, this looked more attractive. The computer disagrees with me. Okay. They wanted me to go for a double fianchetto. Still, putting the knight in the middle of the board. Maybe to keep the knight out of here. Because if the knight jumps in here and the bishop gets to coordinate with check, that's, the knight and bishop on these two squares would be annoying, annoying to say the least. That move blocking in his own bishop was pretty questionable. Um, I don't know why you don't just develop the knight to its natural square. You want to fight for the center. I don't get that move with the knight at all. This one was also a bit dubious, a little questionable, but I wanted to keep the knight out of the square. Um, and I had planned on rerouting the knight here. So, meh. Again, another kind of like this pawn formation with this bishop buried just seems like a very questionable strategic decision. Um, why make your pieces worse? What is this pawn doing here on c3? Um, it blunting this bishop, sure, but um, I think there's maybe better ways to do that in this particular situation. Um, just putting a knight here, and if I'm white, I gladly will take that dark square bishop for the knight. I should have tucked the king away in the corner first. The knight move was best. Okay, good. Um, it's a bit of a like a little bit of a wobble on the eval bar, but it's only a 0.5 edge for white here after a lot of these questionable moves. Um, I should have just allowed him. I should have just allowed him to take the knight and break my structure. That would have given me another open file to work with, I guess. Um, but it seemed needless. It seemed needless at the time, but why does this push so valuable? The only thing I see that doing is keeping his his pawns from rolling. Um, okay. I should have just gone ahead with this. Brought the rook over. It's a waste of tempo to save this pawn. Um, I did feel like that move was slow and cautious. And in gambits, that's not normally my MO. Uh, so maybe trusting my gut here more on bringing the rook to e8. Um, eh. Centralizing the knight also seems reasonable. That's where the knight wants to be. I think I missed this idea of him forcing an exchange of light square bishops because my king's a little exposed on this diagonal. Um, I don't trade. That's best move. And then queen c. Yeah, this queen c2 move was the blunder that really gave me the game because I think I found the right idea: kicking the knight, taking the bishop, and winning my pawn back. And I am up 2.5 on the eval bar, so I am vindicated. That was the best move. Great move. I didn't say best, but it did say great. So it leads to this material gain. Oh, I shouldn't have even snatched the pawn back up. I should have attacked the knight. Interesting. It's interesting. Hmm. Because the rook is coming. Maybe the rook is coming to f4, and then, yeah, lots of threats here. Maybe I do take the knight first, so I remove a defender, a pretty key defender of this position. Good idea. Good idea, computer. Rook. And from here on out, it looks like black is just steamrolling ahead. I should have taken the pawn immediately, really, with the rook. Because if knight takes... He wants him to sacrifice the queen. Queen takes is a better move. Really. Really. Why? What do I do here? I lift the rook? Is the rook lift in order? No, that is a blunder that gives up all advantage. Hmm. Also, oh, I check. Okay. I check. And I mean, if the knight comes back, I've got this, and mate is inevitable. And if the king runs, mate in 3 is forced. With what? Like, where's the mate in 3? Hmm. Oh, maybe rook now. The rook bringing the rook in, yeah. And that seems pretty unstoppable. All right. I should have taken, yeah, should have taken the pawn immediately. But I pulled the bishop back because I wasn't feeling hasty. But that is a crushing edge. It's still a crushing edge. I lose about a point and a half on the eval bar. But this is one of those positions that most moves are winning as long as you're not giving away the house. Um, really, the rook move is it still wants me to take that pawn, and I think I I was overlooking the fact that hmm, yeah, if knight takes, the rook's coming, and mate still seems unstoppable. So I did find the idea eventually, taking the pawn. He found the best move, sacking the rook, and unfortunately for him, it doesn't work. Just moving the king back. He should have checked with the rook, though. Not that that leads to much difference. Oh, in this situation, bringing the knight back was better. Or the king back, not the knight. Interesting. Anyway, opponent tried really hard, but this position was just lost. All right, friends, I hope you enjoyed that. If you found some tactics I didn't see, please let me know. Positional or tactical moves that I may have missed. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you again in my next video.